Alright guys, today we're going to talk about association and causation. Association is also uh, known as correlation. Okay, so I might use those words interchangeably, so just so you know, I'm talking about the same thing. When I say association, I also mean correlation. Alright, kind of the main idea that we're going to talk about is an association between an explanatory variable and a response variable, even if it's strong. So if we have a strong correlation, that doesn't mean there's enough evidence to prove that they cause each other. Okay, so the big idea is association does not mean causation. Okay, or correlation doesn't mean causation. If two things are correlated, even if it has a strong correlation, that doesn't mean that they cause each other. One definition that we're going to have to know about is what a lurking variable is. Okay, so when we're talking about these data or these scatter plots, we also have to think about lurking variables. A lurking variable is something that's not included in the study, but it can falsely identify a strong relationship. So it's something that a variable that's in there that might cause us to really have that association, but that we're not actually studying. All right, guys, so let's look at an example. So there is a strong positive correlation between shark attacks and ice creams. That's true. If I made a graph, as ice cream sales increase, so do shark attacks. That's what it would look like. Okay, so does that mean that buying ice cream is going to cause shark attacks? Well, of course not. That does not make sense. That's just kind of silly. Okay, well, let's flip it around. Does that mean that shark attacks or getting attacked by a shark is that going to cause you to buy ice cream? Well, of course not. Okay, just because they're correlate doesn't mean that it's going to cause each other. What are some lurking variables? So what are some things that we're not thinking about in the study of just ice cream sales and shark attacks? Well, one big thing is, when do people tend to get more ice cream? In the summer. When do people tend to get attacked by a shark? In the summer when they're swimming. So one of the big things is the time of the year or the season. Okay. Another thing might be the temperature outside. Okay. So those are some lurking variables that might actually give us a better reason of why shark attacks happen due to ice cream sales. So that would be a lurking variable. All right, a study compared the average lifespan of the number of television sets per person for different countries. They found that the high positive correlation between life expectancies and the number of television sets. So they found that as the higher life expectancy, the higher number of TVs. Okay, so should we send more television sets to developing countries to increase their life expectancy? Well, if I just send a TV over there, that's not going to help them live longer. So that would be no. Okay, because TVs don't let you live longer. Okay. So what are some lurking variables? Well, let's kind of think if we're talking about developed countries, okay, usually they have higher per capita. So the country's money or their income, right? How much money that country has. Okay, that's going to be a lurking variable. Some other lurking variables might be the healthcare, okay, or access to healthcare. Okay, the number of hospitals or places that they can get help if they're sick, that's going to be a variable that we didn't look at, but it will definitely change our outcomes or kind of explain our correlation. Okay, those are to name a few. There's some other ones. So lurking variables are just things that might change your data that we didn't look at in our study. Take it. So in your own words, I want you to explain why an association between two variables does not mean causation. Just because two things are correlated, that doesn't mean they cause each other. The big thing is lurking variables. Okay, there's usually things that are outside of the two things that we're looking at that might cause that correlation. Go ahead and write down your answer, and let's go ahead and get started on the class kick.